Man, did y'all know the Studio Life was voted the #1 podcast amongst guys with at least 2 baby mamas?
Oh, wow.
Not 1, 2. We're the #1 podcast. All right, y'all, welcome back. We back with another edition of Studio Life After Dark. Tonight's episode is on generational wealth. And to my right, I got Mr. Lamar Story here back again with Life Touch Massage. New to the couch, we got Miss Angie here, making her debut on Studio Life After Dark. And of course, I got my co-host, Mr. Drew, Mr. Workman in the building.
Hello.
All right, y'all. What up, y'all? I'm your host, JuiceManJay.
It's your boy Drew D, the word man.
And it's the one and only Jewel. And you're here with us at Studio Life After Dark.
Man, Studio Life After Dark is the hottest podcast in the city.
We the opinion of the people, man. We the opinion of the people, man. We really just putting it out there, man.
And don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at Studio Life After Dark.
Man, y'all can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and also YouTube.
Hello.
So tonight we're talking about generational wealth. I'm gonna read off the definition of generational wealth, and then we all gonna chime in and kind of give input. All right, so it says, what is generational wealth? Generational wealth is financial assets passed on by one generation of a family to another. And it can be in the form of cash, stocks, bonds, real estate, life assurance, and or family business. And there's other ways you can pass on generational wealth, but I think it's important as us blacks to kind of get a little knowledge on it, and then we talk on it a little bit. So what are y'all thoughts on it?
Personally, I think also they need to include mindset.
Okay.
You know, I think mindset, sometimes, you know, you can create a business. For instance, Life Touch Massage. My kids, I got 3 children. Right now, none of them show any interest.
Right.
But they all have learned from me the mindset of being an entrepreneur.
Right.
I started that with them when they was young.
Okay.
From Dr. Boyce Watkins, they started watching. He had an academy for kids, teaching them about finances and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I set them on the couch and started that program with them when they was young.
Okay.
My oldest son, he's in college, freshman in college, and he got his own business. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that mindset of entrepreneurship, teaching them about finances, teaching them about being an entrepreneur, what it means, the sacrifices you have to take. And when they grow up, they might not want to continue your business, but they might want to go ahead and start their own business because they got the mindset of being an entrepreneur and they got that exposure. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's all about exposure, man. A lot of times we just don't, when you're not exposed to something, you don't know anything about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like right now, black folks playing catch up.
Yeah.
Being exposed
We're
to
definitely doing that.
to stocks and all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Real estate. So just exposing them and having that, the ability to expose them at a young age, and then they can grow into that knowing, hey, this is what this can get me if I go this route.
Right.
You know.
So,
And
yeah.
it's not always, you know, our kids. Sometimes it can be a close family member too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
like you're saying, you ain't really just passing down, like you haven't passed down the physical wealth yet,
Right.
but you passed down the mental wealth already to them. They just seem like, okay, I can actually do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to start a business.
Yeah.
They got a business, so it ain't like it's unheard of. You know what I'm saying? I see this in my household, you know what I'm saying? That's, and like you say, it's just, that's got to be included in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Because really, like, I read a statistic, 1/3 of all businesses, family-owned businesses, get passed down beyond the second generation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about passing down the mindset. Yeah, they
Right.
might not want to, you got a car wash business, they might not want to do that. Especially your kids grow up seeing you missing games and sacrificing, especially this generation of kids.
Yeah.
Everybody want to be a social influencer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't want to go out there and do all that hard work.
Right.
And they be like, man, I don't want to do that. Right. So, but they might, you put something, instill something in them so they can, you know, do their own thing.
Well, speaking of hard work, how do you think that necessarily damage the kids when, let's say you started your business and you pass it along to one of your children? Does that take away the hard work aspect of it?
So it's still gonna be work involved in running the business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, there is a philosophy out there that say, hey, if I give all my kids, I think it was Jackie Chan So he said he ain't giving his kids nothing. He's like, no, I'm not giving them anything. Like they gonna have to work just as hard as I did.
Right.
So then you got the other philosophy like the owner of Chick-fil-A. It's a family-owned business. It's like this is going to be passed down through the family. But at the same time, you have to possess these skills. You know what I'm saying? So in order for you to get this. So there's always going to be work involved.
Right.
I do think, you know, sometimes we can probably spoil our kids a little bit too much. I'm even sitting there with my son. He a freshman. I feel like I hadn't spoiled him.
Right.
But he going down now spending money like he got money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, dude, you ain't got no money. You a
Right.
freshman. What are you doing?
But no, we got money. He said, we got money, Dad.
Right.
Right.
I think also, you know, chiming on to the mindset that we got to have the knowledge and the resources.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when me started my business up, Perfect Harmony Spiritual Wellness, just not knowing what to do next.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you get to a ceiling, and then you be like, okay, I done got this, I done did this, I done did that. You know, they have classes on how to start everything, what you need to do to you know, to get the money up, to get this, to get that. But what do you do? What are the classes or the people teaching? What do you do after you do that? How do you break out of this circle? Because right now, I feel like all the money right now is connected in one loop. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're connected to certain people, you have your people that you know are gonna buy from you, right? So you already got a mind frame on, I know that I'm gonna make $500 today, right? But how do you bring new people in?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because in order to create generational wealth, you got to make sure that you keep the people coming in and keep the business alive.
Right.
And I think that goes to networking outside of your circle of influence.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Right,
constantly
right,
networking.
right,
That's the
right.
one thing. They ain't got no. I don't know which one of y'all, but we
Talk on the phone.
I'm sorry. It's me.
somebody,
It's me. I'm new, y'all. I don't know no better. Let me get this right now. All
where
right.
is the class?
All right, let me sit
Where
this
is the
back out.
class for people who don't sign their phone to the interview?
And look, every time it be, he look at me, I'm like this.
I don't know
I
which
swear
one
to
of y'all
God,
was
so
on.
like,
It was like, I know I ain't all the way here.
Brandon, you just slide up under the table, tap on foot real quick.
They should have told me we was in church.
We always
It's okay.
in church, man. But
We want to be as natural
no,
as possible, though. It's good.
no, it's very important. Like I said, now networking is gonna be the number one thing.
Right,
And they probably have seminars for that more than they have classes.
right,
Because your network is your net worth, you know what I'm saying? So just like you talk about the circle of people, right? You have to build separate circles of people. You have to build this circle of people, this circle
Exactly.
of people, this. And like me, I don't assume nobody's gonna buy shit for real.
right.
I want to assume that people gonna buy it, but I'm more surprised every time I get a sale. I'm like, okay, cool, okay. People surprise me, like y'all, everybody that
Right.
support me, y'all surprised the fuck out of me. I'll be, hey, nigga, give me this.
Of course, man. You see, I'm repping work life right now.
Hey,
Y'all
go
check it
factory,
out.
big goats. You
Goat
know what I'm
factory.
saying? Go energy, but and to answer your first question, it's very important to pass on that generational wealth right now, and that knowledge, because like we coming from, they were throwing rocks at us in the 50s, nigga. That was like 50, 60 years ago. That was like 60 years ago. They were throwing rocks at us. We wasn't no corporations or no large businesses, or they coming from money. And when I say they, I say the people that were not enslaved in the 1800s. Our people were enslaved in the 1800s, right? We wasn't owning the lotion factories or the toilet paper factories or this stuff that say, oh, we've been around for 200 years. We ain't got shit been around for 200 years. So we are that now. We at the beginning. Like you said, we behind. We real far behind. And like you said, it ain't nobody to teach it to us. It ain't nobody even teach what we talking about right now. Outside of us talking about it and other people hearing it. But it's very important to start businesses right now, run businesses, and to show the next generation that y'all can do it. Because they see us when we have our business and they see, I can do that. I can do that. Not even what I'm doing. You see my clothing line and be like, okay, it's cool. He got a clothing line. I want to do this. And they can go do it because, you know, it's possible.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, I just want to kick out some resources because there are things out there,
Right.
and that we just got to be aware of
Right.
to take advantage of.
We got to be aware of them, and we have to take advantage of them.
And we have to take advantage of, like you got the BBA, right? The Better Business Alliance. Go and get a membership with them. It's like, what, $500 for the year.
Okay.
But then you start getting invited to meetings where big companies are involved.
You get invited
That's
to
your
the room.
network.
You get invited to the room.
That's your
Right.
So you know what I'm
network.
saying? So,
Right.
your
so
network.
then you go
Like, I
like,
be out all the time.
You do. You're a network queen.
yeah. And then you take classes through Rail Birmingham, through, these co-starters classes. They got all these classes. Like I just took another class called Supplier Scale class. It teach you how to scale your business. But when you go and take those classes, that's through Prosper Birmingham.
Okay.
So when you go and take those classes, a lot of people are like, man, I'm tired of taking these classes, but it's very educational, but it's about the network.
Right.
It's about the people that you meet in these classes. You know what I'm saying? So when you start meeting these, you start getting invited to this, you start getting invited to that. Next thing you know, you everywhere. Like people see me like, dude, you everywhere. I'm like, you gotta be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I have to network outside of I had to get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, you gotta get out your circle because your
right.
You gotta
circle's
get
gonna
out
be
of my
there.
comfort
When did
zone.
you realize you had to get into another?
Ain't nobody telling you, sir.
Get into right.
What's up, family? Antoine Williams here, and I'm the host of I Am Devoted podcast. And I just want to introduce myself to you. Listen, my show, I Am Devoted podcast, is all about making biblical truth accessible to the believer who is living a devoted life as a disciple of Christ. Listen, if you are that believer and you need somewhere to tap in, you can find me on all social media platforms. I am on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and I am on TikTok. I can't wait to see you there. All right, y'all. Go in peace, family. I love you.
Seriously, I got something to say. But when did you decide to get out of your comfort zone as far as like just handling your
I'm gonna
business?
tell you exactly what happened.
Okay.
We was riding through, me and my wife was riding through Woodlawn. And that was before that was right at the beginning they started like revitalizing or regentrifying Woodlawn. We was like, what in the world is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we riding through like, where the hell is coming from? You know what I'm saying? Then I seen a sign that said Rail Birmingham, something about business incubator or something. And I put it up on my phone. And I was like, got in contact with dude, the director at the time was Dion, a young black dude, with locks. So y'all know Dion Gordon? So he was the director. I was like, damn, this young black dude, the director.
Right.
So he was like, look, this how much it costs to take the class. He said, but I could probably get you in for free. I said, bet. It was only like $200 and something dollars to take the class.
Right.
So that's how it all got started for me.
Okay.
When I went through that, I was like, that was what Biz 1.0 is what it was called back then. That was years ago.
Right.
Me and y'all all heard of Eugene's Hot Chicken. Zebby, me and Zebby was in the same class. So it's just like, that's how it all got started. You see where he at. You know what I'm saying? Like food truck, 2 locations. Well, shoot, he got like 4 locations now because he had Alabama Field, Tuscaloosa. He got Hoover downtown, food truck. So it's just about being in the right places and taking advantage of those opportunities.
Right.
Well, real quick, man. Everyone that just spoke, I mean, y'all all have some great points. And I'm gonna read the definition of something that people may not know the meaning of. And it's a word, and the word is called nepotism. I'm not sure if y'all heard of that word or not, but
I heard it. I don't know what it means.
right. Okay, so it says nepotism. It's the practice amongst those with power or influence, which all of us are, favoring relatives, friends, especially by giving them jobs.
Yeah.
So we all just spoke on that, and I think that's important that we learn that word and we know the meaning of it. But you all just gave a great meaning of that word. So I just figured that was perfect time to.
I mean, the opportunity.
Yeah.
I think you always should put the opportunity out there. Right. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't have to do it.
Right.
My opportunity is I provided so I can hire you just as well I can fire you, or put you in a different position to where, okay, I gave you the best position I can give you. That ain't work out for you because you ain't appreciated. I still give you a position, but it can't be I'm finna make you the vice president just cause
Right.
you my little cousin.
Right. And that's what I was gonna ask too.
Your business gonna fall
much,
off like that.
How
you
much
know?
effort do you all think we put or we need to put in family members when it comes to business?
lot.
You know what I mean?
A lot.
I think I'm going on what he said. Give them the opportunity.
Okay.
Give them the
So
opportunity.
give them the opportunity, and then help them develop the skill set.
Okay.
And if
Right.
they don't, then be like, hey, this ain't working out.
And that's
Outside
another
for sure.
thing what he just said too.
Right.
Help them develop their skill set. You can't just throw them out there because they gonna fail. If they do fail, you kind of like set them up. You know.
Right.
I expected you to be this high, you know, performing person when this is not even in your background.
Right.
So put them in there, but try to provide the skill set to them, let them know what they need to do. Then if they're not taking to it, then you know, hey, you gotta give you something else to do. You know.
Y'all know something that I say all the time. Like our parents were raised from a generation of parents, our grandparents, that it was go to school, work a good job, get your education, retire, right? So that's what's been instilled in us from generation to generation until this new generation just started changing stuff. They say, you ain't gotta have no deal. You ain't gotta have nothing. All you got to do is have a great idea. You got to have something catchy that's gonna, you know what I'm saying? They changed the market of stuff.
Yeah, be trending.
Right. They changed the market of stuff. I think that it'll be easier to get your kids involved, you know what I'm saying, in your family that's the younger generation into being an entrepreneur, period.
Right.
Because this is the entrepreneur generation. You know what I'm saying? We late on it.
Yeah.
It's kids that's
Yeah,
5 and
this
6
a
years
renaissance.
old that got businesses right now.
This is an entrepreneurship
Renaissance,
renaissance right
right.
But
now.
I'm gonna still say, folk don't know what it takes. They don't know what no work is. A lot of folk don't know about. Yeah, you can do anything. It's easy. It's easy. You can walk out there now, set up a lemonade stand.
Yeah.
Is you gonna show up at that lemonade stand when it's raining,
Yeah.
when it's cold, when the lemonade prices, the goddamn lemons cost more than the lemonade. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? Are you gonna figure out how to withstand that? When your lemon supply is no longer your lemon supply, now you got to go, you know, the grocery store in the neighborhood.
Right.
Are you going to say, hey, this has to work and I have to figure out how to work it? And I think that's what a lot of people don't have. It's easy to start, but it's not as easy to maintain, and I don't think everybody's going to like withstand it. You done went through several stores before you found your niche, before you found this works, you know what I'm saying? You done went through different ideas and different shit to do.
But see,
Till
it's
you
the
found something
drive
to work.
and the consistency.
It's because he wanted to do it.
Right, it's the
It's because
determination.
he wanted to be
Right.
the person that he's becoming or that he's became.
Right.
I don't think, you know, you can go get somebody and say, hey, I can put you in position.
But it goes back to what Lamar said.
Yeah.
It goes back to the mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't got that mindset
Right.
because I can think back in the COVID how businesses were just popping up everywhere. Who's still in business right
Where
now?
them folks at?
Yeah.
I seen
It
somebody
was
say, I
people
like y'all
that- it was people that were
attitudes,
doing my
you
hair,
know.
doing my nail. They don't even do it no more.
And I think one thing is what people lacking is a servant attitude, especially in my industry, right? So it's about when people open up a business, they think, oh, this is about me. No, it's about your customer. Your customer is the one that's
Exactly.
gonna keep you in business.
Right.
And if you don't realize that, then you ain't gonna be in business long. You know what I'm saying? So it's about learning how to serve your customer.
Right.
Well, a lot of people, you know, they open up these businesses and think, you know, hey, this is my business, boom, boom, boom. They're like, all right, but where's the dedication you was talking about? Where's the work ethic?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where's the grind? You still gonna have to get out there and grind. You know what I'm saying? You got a lemonade stand. Are you gonna be there on time when you say you? Are you gonna be open when you say you're gonna be open? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Are you
I was
gonna
just gonna say
thank
that you open one Wednesday,
You
but the
know.
next Wednesday you ain't open.
Yeah.
That's me.
And you could have just,
Damn, man.
That's me on
That ain't
Wednesdays.
you.
You just called my day out like, hey, the Wednesdays be kind of shaky. Like, hey, for real.
Just close on Wednesday.
Right. You know what I mean? I need to stick to it. Yeah, I need
just
to
if you
though.
open on Wednesday, you happen to be in there,
Right.
but
But you know, just speaking on what you just said, though, I think people need to understand that it's a marathon and it's not a race when it comes to these businesses. A lot of people want things to happen like overnight. They just expect it to they got some money, they invest in something, they just want everything to just grow super quick. Like it takes time, though, and I think people don't really understand that.
And then from the standpoint of the consumer, people got to believe it like you believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You have to sell it.
I just all of a sudden started a business. Like, I've been knowing her for years. Let me sit back and see if she actually serious about what she doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it took me 2 years to feel comfortable enough to throw an event. You know what I'm saying? I had to get out there, let people know the face behind the brand.
What caused you to wait 2 years though?
Because I felt like I wanted to get out there. Really, I'm gonna be honest, the fear.
And that's okay.
Fear.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Fear of it not being successful. Fear of people not showing up. Fear of me not being able to do what I said I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So it took 2 years for me to work through all of that, but the whole time I was fearful, I was still moving my feet.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I knew eventually I was gonna work through it.
Yeah.
And I think fear holds a lot of us back.
I think we all deal with fear when it comes to
most
business. You know what I mean? We're not sure whether it's gonna work the way we want it to work, you know, but we just have to keep pushing and, you know, making it work. It's okay to be fearful.
Oh
when it
yeah, the
comes to
first
business.
spot I had in Homewood, I almost didn't have it because I was going in with a partner. He backed out at the last minute, and I was like, well, shit, I ain't about to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even afford this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it was my wife. She was like, I got you. You good. Let's
Right.
go ahead. And she pushed me to go ahead and do it anyway.
Right.
And we struggled through that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was a struggle. She, to the point she was like, why are you doing this?
Right.
Like, let's go back to the starting
Right,
point.
right,
Like, what's
right.
going
you
on?
might need to get a job. Like, but
Go ahead, Lamar.
no, but you know, that was it, man. But you know, she pushed me through it. And then, you know, now we are where we are today. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that fear kicked in. It was many days I was at the office trying to figure out my next step. Like, dead. You know what I'm saying? Nobody coming through. He's just like, man, this ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
I want to speak on, and I know it has not a whole lot to do with generational wealth, but I want to speak on partnership. I want to hear like y'all individual thoughts on when it comes to y'all business. What's your genuine, true thoughts on partnership?
I'll let them go first.
Okay.
I'll
Drew,
be through that.
Man,
Speak on it, Drew.
I think I'm gonna just say, find you somebody, whoever your partner is, just y'all had the same goal. If y'all got the same goal, and then have a discussion about
Definitely gotta have a
whatever,
discussion.
you know what I'm saying, whatever your expectations are, whatever your wants are, whatever, you know what I'm saying. But have the same goal in mind. If y'all got the same goal in mind, y'all will go, you know what I'm saying. Because y'all have different paths, y'all might have different ideas, but if both of y'all goal is the same goal, I think y'all, you know,
Right.
I think it'll work out. But other than that, you know, might not, you know.
Yeah. And the only reason I wanted to ask that question because I know we have disagreements. Because when you talk about a business, you're dealing with money, you're dealing with feelings, emotions, and stuff. You're gonna have disagreements. You know what I mean? You may want to purchase this, they may say no, it's not a good purchase.
Right.
So I just kind of wanted y'all thoughts on that. Like, how do you feel about it? Whether you dealt with it or not, you know what I mean?
I feel like, far as a partner, you got to have somebody that kind of over believes in it more than you do. You know what I'm saying?
You think that's rare?
It is rare. It's very rare. But sometimes you get that one person that's driving you more than you driving yourself sometimes. You know what I'm saying? When you get somebody like that means they see your vision. You got to get somebody that see your vision. Like he said, they got the same goals. You got to, because sometimes people don't see the vision.
Right.
They don't see
That's
the vision.
one of the biggest things. You know what I mean?
You know, if
Yeah,
a person,
I truly believe in that.
a person will be looking for money and you looking for success or longevity.
Right.
And if they looking for the payout, then
It's gonna be a disconnect
Exactly.
right now.
The payout is part of it too, but you
the
know,
payout is part of it, but is your goal the payout
Right.
or is your goal the longevity and the sustainability? Because if you got longevity, you get paid, right?
And then you have to
You're gonna
realize, then you and that person gotta have an understanding what their meaning of success is.
Right.
Because my meaning of success might not be your meaning of success.
Well, I mean, the success might be longevity. I mean, the success be like, no, they cut us a check for this much money and we good. You know?
Right. We
Yeah.
out
They
there.
trying to get something to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are very important discussions to have because, so I've been through this whole partnership thing, and it was like, you had to look at partnership as a marriage.
Yeah.
You don't just meet somebody and be married the next day. Well,
Right.
some people do, but most people don't, right? So it's about you got to date first.
Yeah.
I need to see where your head at. You know what I'm saying? I need to know if you got to pay bills. I need to know what your credit score like. I need to know, like, you know, are we on the same page? Are we equally yoked?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, partnership is really like a marriage, dog. When you get into a partner with somebody, because, like, so the situation I was in, when I was in Homewood, I was like, man, I want to get downtown. Couldn't afford to be downtown by myself. At least I didn't think so. So I was like, okay. One of my employees at the time, I was like, talk to him, talk to one of his friends and see if we can partner and just go ahead and move downtown. So, you know, I'm selling them the vision. You know, my employee, he was good because he worked with me. He, you know, and then the other, you know, his friend, they, you know, I thought he was good, but intuitively I felt some hesitancy. He was hesitant because he never felt like he was worthy because they always looked at it as my vision.
Right.
And that's why when what you said stood out
right,
because
right.
they got to believe in it too. You know what I'm saying?
You believe in it
But
now
they
more
kept
than
looking
they
at it
do.
like, man, this your baby. I'm like, bruh, if I'm saying, yeah, the brand is here, and I built the brand up to here, but now I'm saying, look, your sweat equity means just as much as what I done put in financially.
right.
So let's go in this together.
Discover yourself, embrace it, and unlock the potential within. This is the I Am Courtney Chandler podcast, streaming on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. We shine a light on people who are making strides in the community and making our world a better place. And we discover the I Am, embrace it, and we unlock the potential within. Follow us on social media. I Am Courtney Chandler podcast on Instagram and on Facebook.
But they didn't never believe in the vision, and it broke up. You know what I'm saying? So then it was just like, you know, you got to have, and plus I didn't know enough, honestly, to be real. I didn't know enough personally about them. You know what I'm saying? So before you get involved in a partnership, because you talking about finances, you talking about being able to get a possible bank loan together, especially if it's gonna be like an equal partnership.
That paperwork
And then some come up and be like, you know, this person can't because of this and this. You be like, damn, I ain't know that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to know all of that stuff, and nobody talks about
Right.
that part of it. When you go in a partnership, you need to know all that.
Right. I'm gonna get my personal experience on it. I ain't gonna say which business it was, but I was in a situation where I was gonna do a partnership with an individual. And we was trying to decide on whether we was gonna do 50-50, 51-49, 75-25, 60-40, you know, and we laid it out like 51-49 was, of course, I was the sole person, so I had just a little bit more. They had some responsibility too. 75-25, it was more so like I handled most of the business. I handled pretty much everything. They was more so an investor with the 25. And then I think the 60-40 was, I just had a little bit more to do than they had to do though. But me personally, I don't believe in 50-50 partnerships.
Yeah.
Because someone has to be that ace, somebody has to be that alpha, somebody has to be that final decision maker. So I just don't believe in 50-50 partnerships. And it really kind of swayed me from doing any partnerships. Not saying that I'm not open to it, but I just had a bad experience when it comes to partnerships.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I wanted to know y'all's opinion on it.
Same, you know, but at the same time, I'm still learning
Okay.
because there's different ways you can structure partnerships.
Right.
But now knowing what you know now and knowing what I know now, if somebody wants to come in and be like, hey, I like what you got going on, I want to funnel a little bit more money into this, then I can see that it was like, okay, they ain't gonna do nothing. You
Like
know, they
being
just,
an investor.
they want a return on their investment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if somebody tell my coming to partner, like, hey, I like what you're doing, I want to offer this, this, this. So if I built the brand to this, like you said, if I built the brand to this,
Right.
define all of your roles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's
Everybody
real
define their roles. And if you got 4 roles and they got 2, why you think it's 50-50?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this can't be 50-50.
That's
if
really
I
not
got 4
50-50, yeah.
roles.
I don't think people look at it like I worked in corporate America all my life. So you have to look at it like if you have $1 billion company, you have shareholders. So it's not 50-50.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It could be 12 people. It could be 15. You know what I'm saying? And they're not really telling you how to run your business. But they're in the room when the business ain't making no money. Because like he said, they want their return.
Right.
My money in here. regardless if I'm making a decision
Right.
or not. My money's in the bill.
Right, like people don't know what a CEO really is. You know what I'm saying? People just like to put it on the side of their name. You know what I'm saying? But you know, a CEO can still have a boss.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? If you have investors, then that's who your boss is, because these are
They
the
got
people
the
that's
money.
funding your establishment or your business or whatever
That's
it
who
is that
come
you're
through and be
doing.
like, hey, I got to
Right.
get rid of your CEO.
That's what I be saying about, you know, certain classes about what we don't know about, because some people might not have worked in that industry to know how that revolve. And then I worked in management for 16 years, so budgeting, payroll, stuff like that, that comes easy to me, marketing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't know how to do that. They might have a great idea,
Yeah.
but they ain't got no push behind it.
And piggyback on what you said, CEO and an owner are two different things. A lot of people don't know that.
Right.
CEO means Chief Executive Officer.
Right.
I mean,
But if you don't
execute
have
the orders.
anybody else, that means you're executive officer of what?
Nothing.
Right. You just a business
You're
owner.
just the owner.
Right. So chief executive officer is really when you have a team of people and you know what I'm saying? Now you're an executive officer over these people. But so it's, you know, a lot of people call themselves CEO, but really you're just a business owner.
Right.
Especially if you don't even have an employee.
Right. So back on generational wealth, how much do y'all feel like that's important just amongst blacks? You know, we didn't really speak on a specific race.
And that is of utmost importance.
Yeah.
Like, we buying everybody else stuff. Why are we not owning our stuff? Why have we not built up businesses with legacies? Like, why aren't we building up businesses with legacies?
Right.
We have to create our shelf space. We have to create our shelf space in the world. Like, I wish I knew somebody that made like nice jeans that fit me, because I'm gonna wear my clothes every day.
Right.
I'm gonna wear whoever. If I buy something from you, I'm gonna wear yours. If I buy yours, I'm gonna wear yours. You know. If I could buy everything, you know, up to my standards or up to my liking. I'm talking about down to the food in my fridge. You know. If I could pay a electric company, you know,
Right.
that fell in that category, I would. You know. But I think we should have that option until we create, you know, these jobs and these businesses and stuff. We're not gonna be able to do that. So
Right.
And yeah.
Right.
we are Black Wall Street. This is Black Wall Street sitting in this room.
Do y'all know how much we can do if we really just
This is
put
Black
our
Wall
minds
Street,
together and
you know.
just really just, you know, our ideas and everything?
But
we
you
really
you got to learn how to separate the personal from the business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People don't do that. Like, when I be talking to some people, because I advise and counsel people all day long, most of the time, the stuff be personal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I be saying, at the end of the day, if I pay you, then I expect a service.
Right.
It ain't got nothing to do with we've been friends since we've been in the second grade.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't treat me like I'm your friend from the second grade once I done paid you. You know what I'm saying? I paid for a service. So that means that I'm expecting for a service to be done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And us as a community, a lot of us have a problem with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I tell you that I wasn't happy with the experience, a lot of us are not good at saying, hey, what was the problem, and trying to fix it. We want to get upset and feel like somebody is meaning something personal when it's business.
Right.
You know?
Man, you know, you talk about generational wealth, and we talked about the mindset. And I was on the phone with my sister, who just bought Sneaky Pete's in Gardendale, and my niece, who owns Boulder Athletics in Memphis.
Okay.
And we were just talking the other morning, and we just talking about where we get it from. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that mindset, it wasn't intentionally passed down, but it was because what we were exposed to. Like, my grandfather taught my mom how to sand floors. My brother started working for the company. My uncle, my mom's brother, they had a flooring business. You know what I'm saying? But they never got formal education on how to put these things in place to say, hey, this is the CEO, this is the COO. You know, nobody had titles, nobody had labels. Everybody just kind of worked.
They just worked.
And now I see the business just kind of falling apart.
Right.
And now being a business owner myself, I'm like, why didn't anyone come to us strategically? Hey kids, you know, my uncle come to get us and be like, hey, y'all gonna come, I'm gonna show y'all how to do these floors.
Right.
You know, no one did that with us. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm seeing them, and now it's like we're having to kind of pitch in and help them because the businesses are failing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they don't know how to. I asked my uncle, I was like, did you take advantage of this PPP stuff? He was like, no, because I ain't did this. I don't even know if he had a business license. You know what I'm saying? But they've been doing this stuff for years.
Right.
And he's like, I ain't paid taxes. And I was like, what? You
Like
know what I'm saying?
every
So
claim
now,
messed up.
so I'm like, okay, I'm seeing this as a youngster seeing it, but I'm thinking in my head they had all this stuff in place, but it was just a lack of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So once you get the knowledge on how to put all these processes in place legally and strategically, and then be intentional about passing it down to the younger generation, that's very important.
Right.
Because if that would have happened, guess what? Washington Unlimited Services would have been us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
I got so many cousins, man, it's crazy. I mean,
Right.
my granddad, they had 10 kids. Man, we got hundreds of cousins. Man, this could have been a huge thing if it was done the right way. You know what I'm saying? So,
And I totally get that, man. All right, so quick, we're gonna take a break. Not a break, but I want you to give out your social media information. Then I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna let you go first, and then you can give out.
Okay.
And which camera she got? The center.
Okay, guys, it's Angie with Perfect Harmony Spiritual Wellness. You can reach me on Instagram and Facebook at phspiritualwellness.com. I mean, spiritual wellness. Yeah, that's it.
Tell us a little bit about it. What it's about, real quick.
I teach meditation. I do facials. I also advise and counsel people on ways to heal so they can move on into.
Everybody needs some healing.
Yeah, because I think people suppress things that they think that they're over with it when they're really not,
Right.
and they're not really aware of how that affects them going forward.
Right.
You know, why they tick the way they tick.
Right.
And I also sell and make natural organic products.
Okay. All right. So we got that. So I'm gonna ask a question. Then I'm gonna let you go first, and then we're gonna let you slide
Okay.
off on there because it's 9:24.
Okay.
All right, so next question is, we're on the topic of generational wealth. So the question is, what information or advice would you give parents to prepare their children for the future dealing with generational wealth?
I'm going to piggyback off of what he said earlier about your child might not want to go into business that you per se have. But I believe in pushing your children's talents because they might, or passions, because they might not want to go to school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if you first find out what they're passionate about and get them into the activities, you know what I'm saying, early on to grow that,
Okay.
then you can better help them see that whether or not they're going to be an entrepreneur or whether or not they're going to work or whatever it is that they're going to do.
Right.
You know, because I got two boys and one is in college, you know what I'm saying, very, very smart.
Okay.
But I have a 10-year-old that school I already see that ain't his knack. You know what I'm saying? So I ask him every day, have you thought about what you want to do? He's very interested in what I do. Like that's who helped me pack my orders and do stuff like that.
Okay.
So when I'm walking him through it, I'm letting him know, you know, this costs this. You know why mama used this much, why she measured this. Because that's how mama come up with her price in order to make a profit. You know what I'm saying? Like just little things like that I'm teaching him as we're going through the process of getting somebody order out.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha. Okay. Lamar, what advice would you give to some of the parents that's trying to take their kids and teach them about financial, generational wealth?
First, expose them to history.
Okay.
I sat down and watched some documentaries with my children, and they hated it at first. They was like, "Oh God, what is this?"
Right.
But teaching them about Black Wall Street, because I ain't learned about Black Wall Street until I was young. I mean, until I was grown.
Okay.
Which is sad in itself, because I'm like, why am I just learning about this?
Right.
So when you teach them about the historical context of what we could do, and expose them to what we could be today, then it does something to their brain. It was like, oh man, I can do this.
Right.
Right. So I bought a commercial building last year, and we were riding through downtown before I bought the building, and We seen these really nice buildings downtown. It was like the John Hand building or something, right? You know how buildings have names on them.
Right.
I said, y'all ever thought about having a building with your name on it? They was like, nah.
Be pretty
I
dope.
was like, y'all know that's possible, right?
That's a dope visionary.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it is.
Right.
And they was like, it's just something that you don't, little kids, you don't think about it.
Right.
And then so now when we buy this commercial space, I make sure that they see the process of what we did to renovate the space. Let them know like we own this space, but this is something that you will one day own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And showing them how we make money off of this space. That this is passive income that can be in your pockets as well. You know what I'm saying? And just teaching them and exposing them to that, to where they can actually see it, put hands on it and touch it. And if you don't have it yourself, exposing them by means of somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Putting them in those places where they can see that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, black people have things and you can have it too.
And I think it's important. I mean, we spoke a lot on passing it down to our children, but we got to think, a lot of times we got to make sure that our children's children, and my children's children, they receive that same information, So I think it's important that we make sure we speak on the kids and let our kids speak on their kids, once they become of age, to speak on that as well. So what about you, Drew?
Man, I'm on.
Studio closed, studio closed, studio closed, studio closed, studio closed, studio closed. If you're looking for a deal today, come holla at JuiceManJay. If you're looking for a deal today, come holla at JuiceManJay. Come shop with us, cause you probably gon' pay too much if it's not with us. Keep popping up with the latest fashion, got haters watching and the latest accent. Satisfaction, I was guaranteed, believe we got exactly what you need. You gon' leave out here with some jack, custom serves gon' make you come back. If you want that, rip the runway style, get it. Latest outfits, we stay with it. Hottest ones in the whole city. Juice man, stay with it. You want that, rip the runway style, get it. Latest outfits, we stay with it. Hottest ones in the whole city. JuiceManJay, stay with it. Take a shot. Got tomorrow's trends and the latest fashion. Studio clothing, great prices, 2 facts, they ain't taxes. Studio clothing, got all the want, must have. Studio clothing, investment 1,400 night so fast. Come on down and rolling where everybody's going. Catch them for they closing. Studio clothing, come on down and rolling where everybody's going. Catch them for they closing. Studio clothing. Come see us at Studio Clothing, 1400 9th Avenue North, Suite 148, Bessemer, Alabama, 35020. See you there. If you're looking for a deal today, come holla at JuiceManJay. If you're looking for a deal today, come holla at JuiceManJay. If you're looking for a deal today, come holla at JuiceManJay. If you're looking for a deal today, come holla at JuiceManJay. Hey.
Grab this little motherfucker, I'm gonna look him in the face and I'm gonna say,
You gonna be somebody.
I'm gonna tell him, man.
You represent me when you walk out that door. You gonna do the line? You are somebody.
Motherfucker up to the light. But now I'm gonna tell him just simple. If you don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
1 make 2. You know what I'm saying? 1 make 2, 2 make 4, 4 make 8, and on and on.
Right.
And just most importantly, like, we different. We different. And by me, I mean me and my family, or as far as how I see my family, we different. So we're gonna have to be a part of that change. Right. Just like you, just like you, just like you. We different. Right. So we're a part of that change. I'm a part of that change for my family as well as for the overall good,
Yeah.
But
I think it's great, man. This really, everything we just spoke on tonight, man, this is timeless material.
Yeah.
This is not something that's just done for 2022, 2023. You know what I mean? This is something that can be listened to, it can be heard, it can be watched for 50 years from now. You know what I mean? And there's gonna be someone that come up behind us, maybe even our kids, that's gonna speak on the same thing though. So man, I think it's beautiful, man. I really appreciate y'all, man.
You gotta be kidding me, man.
Anybody else got anything we want to speak on before we wrap it up?
One thing I wanted to say that about the difference in the cultures,
Okay.
because most people who already have access to generational wealth, you know what I'm saying? They already know that their firstborn son is gonna run the business. He really don't have an option.
Right.
You know what
Should
I'm
we
saying?
make it an option for ours?
But what I'm saying about it though is that's why it
That's a good
continues to go
question.
on, because they're raised from little kids to already know that this is what you're gonna be me one day.
Right.
Yeah,
You know what
but
I'm
then
saying?
they be put in a position of where like they working and they running it, but they not running it.
Exactly.
Because the company is so
Right,
deep
right,
off
right,
in, like
right.
that child ain't even making decisions. He has to run the company
But he
because
has
the company's
name.
passed down.
You know what I'm
He's got the
saying?
name, yeah.
He got the name.
But should we give our kids an option though?
So
Or should we just push them into that?
I'm gonna piggyback off what he just said. Was I was listening to a podcast with one of the owners for Chick-fil-A, and it's a family-owned brand, right? And they were saying that there's gonna be people in the family that own the business just because of the last name,
Right.
but they don't necessarily run it.
They don't
Right.
run it.
It's gonna be the people with the skill set
Right.
that actually run the business. Like
Right.
they're gonna be an owner by
Right.
default.
But that's why I say you give them the option, and then if not, then I just give you another job. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of times, a lot of people don't give them options. They just put them in position. They say, "Hey, you're gonna do
This
this, and you're
what-
gonna do
from,
that."
from the time they born,
Right.
that's what they,
But
that's
that's
what
your
they're
option. I'm
known.
finna give you this
Right.
option. This is your option. Yeah.
But they don't. They
Run this
don't.
bitch.
Right. They don't have an option. They're groomed.
Do you think the success level of giving them,
birth.
not giving them an option, is higher than giving them an option though?
So just like the statistics say, 1/3 of businesses go past that second generation. You can't make them do it.
Right.
Like for a point in time, you can say, "Hey, you the owner of this business. This is what I want you to do." But if they ain't got the heart, they ain't got the will and the skill to do it, they ain't gonna do it. And they gonna do a good job, and the business is gonna fall off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you probably can't, like you said, you can find somebody else in the family that can possibly do that.
Well, you're just gonna find somebody else. Period. You know. But it's a great thing now. Me and my cousin was talking about the other day. It's the last thing I'm gonna say about it. A man's gonna say, "Hey, I drove this Chevy, so my son could drive a Mercedes, and then he gonna drive a Mercedes, so his son can drive a Lamborghini, and he gonna drive a Lamborghini. So, it's gonna start over after the Lamborghini, because it's all passed down. Like, you know, I'm putting you in position. I'm just putting you in position. So you gonna be the guy that's so easy. Like, we working to get position.
They don't know how to get it.
So I'm gonna do all this, and then 3 generations down, it's just gonna start over. That's why you really, you know, you got to kind of worry about how you delegate those responsibilities, how you delegate those positions.
Right. I mean, I want to speak on the Kardashians. I feel like they setting themselves up so they can, and I don't even know a whole lot about them, but they all got a name and they all
Hold
in
on till
the
you
public
blow
space.
up. That's what they. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Whatever it is, they do it. You know what I mean? But they all have a name and they doing something that that name is going to carry for so long.
Yeah.
But
You know
the
what I mean?
mom had the mindset,
Yeah.
regardless of how she got them out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I
They're
mean by
putting
hold up till
themselves
you
out
blow
there.
up.
Whatever
That's
it is
all
they
I mean.
have to do, they making sure that name goes on.
Yeah.
They making sure their generational wealth is going to continue over years and years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm trying to think of somebody that's black that's done it before too.
But my thing is
Crickets.
this: when
You know what I'm saying? Like-
when it's in you, right? You're gonna do something. You know what I'm saying? So like, because it's in you, you grew up seeing it. You used to having $100,000 in your account, right?
Because them folks
So
come
when
from
you
money
not-
already now.
You say what?
They already was coming from money.
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's a fucking OJ lawyer. This
But
OJ
they
Simpson
making sure-
lawyer.
But
chill.
compared to the
Everybody-
money they have right now, that money was average money.
It was average where they were. That's not
Right.
average money.
That was rich to us, though.
That is not average. Exactly. That's not average
but
money.
I'm saying for where they are. You know what I'm
Right
saying?
now,
That was lawyer money. You know what I'm saying? We living comfortably money.
Right.
For where they are.
Right.
So what they have now, they just
They rich.
catapulted it. You
Yeah,
know what
they
I'm saying?
catapulted, but I feel like they were, okay, yeah, this is a regular people, but just like the superstars around them, those are regular people too.
Let's go
Yeah.
into a deeper
But they are
conversation.
in a different category of people, you know.
Look who they married.
And they all did that. All of them.
Look who they
Was it Rob
married.
or who was it?
I'm just saying, even the Kim.
They all
Kanye.
Oh, yeah,
all married
I
to
know
it.
she knew what she was
so
doing.
my thing is this: how much charge do we put on who we actually marry, who we actually get involved with, who our partner is? You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times in the black community, we don't put too much charge on that because that's going to determine whether you go up or down.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So it's
absolutely
about,
true.
you know, you get with somebody and, you know, your family might be doing well off and then you go get with some girl or guy that's not on the same mindset.
It's gonna
You
be a
don't
weight
have
around your neck.
You done had a child by this person.
Oh God.
Now, all of a sudden, up or down. And I think other cultures are very intentional about who their child
They are marrying two
partners
families.
with.
They are marrying to
Look at
families.
the culture. Look at Indian cultures. So I used to work at Ross Bridge. Man, Indian weddings, the biggest weddings they had. They still do arranged marriages, bro.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
What's arranged marriage?
They marry into a family.
They marry into a family that's gonna profit their family.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We gonna wade the water
Their
together.
partners are
You got a
chosen.
daughter, I got a
Right.
son, right? Me and you finna sit down and hash out how
You
this
ain't got to
marriage
like that
finna go.
person then. They just married because they got some money and
And
they
they'll,
just.
and they'll tell you that
My
they fall
dad
in
is
love
like
all
your
the
dad,
time.
and they cool.
And I
them
think
niggas
now,
got, you
I think
know.
now it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more modern,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's still the same. They have
Right.
matchmakers.
Right.
They go out and get somebody and be like, okay, we think y'all will be a perfect match. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't think we don't do that. We don't say, hey.
I don't think we're willing to do that.
But you know what? There is a subtle in our society. There is a subtle culture like that, right? Because you had like the debutantes and you had the Jack and Jill Society. You know what I'm saying? And they're in this bubble to where their kids not gonna really affiliate with your kids.
Because if you don't have what we have, then you're not in.
Right. So it's like the Jack and Jill. It's very intentional, and some people, you know, frown upon it. They're like, oh, they think they all that. They really do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is it wrong?
Right. You should feel that before you want to feel, first of all.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
got friends. I got a few friends who are Jack and Jill. You know what I'm saying? And we've been invited, but you know, we just. I don't want to talk about that. But it's just like we don't feel like, you know.
That's your world. To be
It's
in.
my world.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, but I don't shame anybody who feel like that's what that needs to happen, because culturally it's like, look, this is where we are. We're not about to let you slip up and put us back down here.
Right.
You know how hard we had to work to get here, and now you want to just go out and do whatever.
But I think that's what comes with our culture about hindering knowledge and resources. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's just like you buy commercial properties, correct? But you'll be willing to tell me how you did that. But some people hold on to it. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like I don't want you to be where I'm at, or they feel like where you coming from that you're not on the same level. You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm finding is that some people won't even listen to you. You know what I'm saying? I actually created a whole app because people are like, man, how you do this? How you find out about that grant? I said, look, follow this app. I put it out there on social media. I'm going to tell you everything I know.
Right.
And I'm going to sit down there and talk to people. Hey, man, we need to sit up and have a meeting about this. How many people showed up? You know what I'm saying? It's like some people, and then they look at you like, oh, you think you... I'm like, do you know what I'm trying to do, though?
Right.
Look at the business. Who worked for me? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all our people work for me. And now I'm trying to show them. I created a program called A Pathway to Entrepreneurship. And people was like, what? So you basically hire people to create their own business? I'm like, yeah. So I said, you give me 2 years and I'm going to show you how to create your own business. Some people are like, I don't want to work for him. Like, okay, who else doing that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And who else you gonna go work for anyway?
Right.
But
You
they're
gonna
not
work for
looking-
somebody that ain't finna pour nothing.
They ain't
to you.
looking at it like it's entrepreneurship. Not an entrepreneurship or internship. You know what I'm saying?
They look at it like they working
You
for
do
you.
it if you're going to get a job or a residency, if you're going to become a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Because before they let you loose, you're going to have to put some hours in.
And that's the problem. Like, and it goes back to what you said, the hard work part is gone.
Yeah.
People think it's easy. They see you doing this. They're like, JR, man, look at this production. Like, I was blown away when you first invited me last time. because I wasn't expecting this. I've been on podcasts, you know, and I've had a podcast, and it was just me and my wife and a laptop. When I walked in here, then I got my man's over here. I'm
It's
like,
a real studio.
I'm like, damn, you got like 5 cameras in this mug. You know,
Hey,
you got
man.
the signs. You
It
know
took
what I'm
some
saying?
time though.
I was like, man, I was very impressed. And I've been knowing him for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So I was very impressed. So, you know, to see that like that, I was like, man, I had to be like, man, I told him, I was like, bro, I'm proud of you. And I think we missing that part too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like being humble enough to say, man, hey, how can I learn from you?
Hey, man.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what we're here to do it for, man. I mean, we really trying to learn, you know, from each other, to be honest though.
Yeah.
Everybody has a little bit of piece of information to give each other.
The mind isn't a terrible thing to waste. The mind is a terrible thing to not use. Come and join us in learning the potential possibilities that our minds possess. I'm Braxton Holly on Ideas Inspire Information. Be a part of our solutionary community and connect with us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Looking forward to seeing you there.
It's just up to us whether we absorb it or whether we take it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of us are doing different types of businesses. You know what I mean? So the way we handle business is going to be a little bit different. You know what I mean? But hey, that's just what it is though. But I think we can learn something from each other though when it comes to this business thing. And I think that's what we need to push toward.
Yeah.
You know, like big time.
Cause they look at Jay and be like, hey, man, you got the podcast, we can do it. And then you go in there and you realize how much expense.
Hey, it's some work, dog.
You can do it, but how long you gonna do it?
Yeah,
they say
yeah.
like, man,
Right.
I'm like,
do
damn,
anything.
Jay ain't tell me he spent
Shit.
this much a month. You know what I'm saying? Like all
yeah.
this stuff that people don't know, they just
Right.
assume that I can
Right.
just jump up and do the same thing you doing because you make it look easy.
Yeah.
And it ain't.
Yeah. I mean, I did a lot of research, man. It took me really 2 years to get this space going. Like 2 years. I had this space for 2 years. And it took just buying little pieces, whether for the cameras, to the pictures, to the table, to the candles, to the everything, you know what I mean? So it didn't happen overnight, but the way I looked at it, I just wanted to do it a certain way. You know what
Got
I
a
mean?
vision.
Yeah, I had a vision for it, you know what I mean? So I just did it a certain way, and when I came out, I wanted to come out like running with it, you know what I mean? So, I mean, nothing against people who started with a laptop or anything, like, you know, that's just the way they started. Nothing against that though. I just had a certain way I wanted to do it, and I wanted to make sure I take my time and did it.
Yeah.
You know.
You did a good job, man.
I
You
appreciate
did,
it,
because
man.
I walked in, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's real nice.
Man, this is a studio.
And from when we talked about it, way
Long
the
time
fuck
ago,
back, you know
man.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
It's here and it's happening, you know what I'm saying? Shit, you know.
the fruits of your labor.
This is it. I didn't even expect this. I just told you was like, you trying to do it. I'm with it.
Right.
I'm with you, bro. Whatever you trying to do, I'm with it. If you come to me with an idea, whatever you trying to do, I'm with it. Whatever I can do to help. If it's in my time frame, my parameters, I'm with it. Shit. Turned out we got that, you know, shooting very well, you know.
Yeah.
So
Man, did y'all know the Studio Life was voted the #1 podcast amongst guys with at least 2 baby mamas?
shit.
Not 1, 2. We're the #1 podcast for folks with at least 2 baby mamas. All right, y'all, let's build a wrap though. We're gonna give a shout out to Miss Angie for popping in real quick. You know, she came in at the spur of the moment real quick, did a little quick debut real quick. We sure appreciate you for doing that. You wanna take a shot on the way out real quick before you get up out of here?
I've been taking shots the whole podcast.
Take one for the road again real quick.
She been sipping, she been eating ice over here. I'm finna read on tap, baby.
No, I'm good.
All right.
You made sure you put
I
your
did.
hand on
I
it.
did.
I
then.
did.
Hold on, I can't be the only one not
Yeah,
taking
you
a shot,
can
though.
gonna take one with you real quick.
It was finna be to the top line.
Sure, then we gonna
I can't be the only
close
one
out.
not taking a
Then we're gonna
shot.
get your information again, so
Yeah.
we gonna shut it out. I appreciate you too, Ange. That was clutch. That was clutch.
And it showed
That
up
was
with
clutch.
a
Yeah.
corporate voice.
Who wanna get a shout out? You wanna do a Drew? Or what? If you wanna...
Hey, man, as I always say,
Hey man, say man.
may tomorrow be better than today.
Hey, I feel that.
And it's a wrap, y'all. Y'all check us out. We got 1186 Real Artesian Water. Big shout out to them, y'all. Soon to be sponsored for them. Black owned company. Y'all check them out. 1186. And big shout out to B Price too for putting us on that.
Hello.
It's a wrap, man.
Man. Appreciate it, boss.
Oh, no doubt.
Thank you,
man. I
guys.
appreciate you coming through clutch.
Appreciate
man,
you.
For real, though.
Good to see you again, Andy.
All right. You too.